Like any good road trip, especially in a beautiful car like this, you can have a plan, but the twists and turns you might take along the way are the most fun part about it. The things you didn't plan and the things you discover, and this trip is no exception. Let me take you on the rest of the journey that led us up to this point and how we have this beautiful LS430 Chariot to take us to somewhere incredible like this. It's time to take this beast of an LS430 on a 400-mile round trip, road trip on 1 tank of gas. So let's get fueled up and I'll tell you more about it. She's gassed up. I'm gassed up. Let's do this. So it seems like the trip computer is actually pretty accurate here. 416 miles when the tank is completely topped off and full. We're doing this road trip in Florida, and there's something that I don't think you're going to expect that exists in Florida, and that's where we're headed, along with an overnight halt into a really small beach town in Appalachicola, and then back home all in 1 tank, which is going to be nearly 400 miles. And this 20-year-old LS430 should be able to do it without a hitch. I'll tell you a bit more about the journey as we get rolling here, but I did a quick once-over on the car this morning, checked all the fluids, and everything's good. And you know we couldn't leave home without that extra coolant, aka distilled water, so we're keeping it safe. I've lived in Florida my entire life, and I didn't even know this place existed. It's only about 100 miles from home, so this is the first leg of our journey, and I think you're gonna be really surprised at what it is. To give you a little teaser, it's somewhere that's gonna be cold, dark, and wet. Now, the point of this 1 tank challenge is to try to find somewhere we can go that's like the most interesting place. We can get there and back round trip, and it's kind of amazing that this car is over 20 years old, and it can do over 400 miles on 1 tank. It's a 300 horsepower V8, and yet still we get amazing performance, comfort, all the things you come to know and love about the LS430, but you also get pretty decent gas mileage, and I actually get worse gas mileage than I think others do, partly because of my little evap code that I have. Could be things like, you know, gas tank, the gas cap and stuff like that, but to be able to do a whole weekend away and 400 miles is pretty awesome, so we're really gonna put it to the test and see if that's true. Yeah, boy! Woohoo! Put that VVT to work. That didn't help on the gas mileage, but it's fun. Oh, wow, denied. We're just 7 miles from our first stop here, 85 miles done, and look at that gas gauge, it's barely even moved. This thing is sipping on that fuel. I've certainly made no effort to stay off the power, and we're in power mode, baby. BMW, we need it. First leg of the journey, 100 miles, absolutely smashed. Now we're gonna go do something super cool. Spelunking. I don't want to fall down there.
These people won't be down there, so they're going to research them.
The only formation we're allowed to touch. It's moist. Here's our little bat buddy. So that was super cool. Florida Cavern State Park. I had no idea that there was a cavern that existed that close to our house. I thought they were all kind of in Central Florida, but that's the biggest one that's not flooded in all of Florida. So that's pretty cool. Now back to our Chariot. Peace, comfort, and serenity on the highway await. Next leg is a little bit over 100 miles to our overnight halt, and it should be nothing but a breeze. On the road again. Going the speed limit. Woo-hoo-hoo! I was definitely going 55 just now, for sure.
You were going 85.
Don't tell the people! Appalachicola National Forest. What's up? Carabelle. Get hooked. Hell yeah. Oh, good. A weekend away to a town with a prison. That might be the most Florida sign I've ever seen. And it is accurate. We made it. We were at the weekend destination. Not here, but over there. Car ran beautifully. We're at the halfway point. This car is incredible. It's absolutely demolishing these miles. We've done nearly 200 and it's like, I'm not tired. I'm ready to do 200 more. Such a pleasure to drive. What a cool spot. And look at this. Our spot, the Peculiar Pelican, has a perfectly LS-sized garage. Boom, baby. Keeping this luxury automobile safe. Woo! I love this thing. So we just stumbled upon a little book sale and went inside and just kind of talked to some of the locals and discovered this little town had practice for the World War II soldiers training on the beach here in Carabel to prepare to go land in Normandy. How crazy is that? So we'll have to go find the beach and check that out. There's also a lighthouse and the world's smallest police station. So this little town has a couple of interesting things to it. So we're at this cool little waterfront park here. This is St. George Sound, and then that's Dog Island, and beyond that is the Gulf of America, aka the Gulf of Mexico. So the highway around here is right there. That's Highway 98, and then it just runs along the water the whole way. Such a cool little spot, and such a gorgeous car to do it in. This just looks cool with like that mist up ahead.
Yeah,
I guess it's foggy. As we're driving around, we're realizing like every single one of these houses out here is on stilts. So either like the beach floods like crazy in storms, which is probably true. Hurricanes come through here all the time. But every single one, look, they're all on stilts. Every single house. All of them, like straight up all of them. It's crazy. It's so cool. I mean, we live at the beach and not everything out there is on stilts. Some of them are, but not that bad. So it must flood like crazy out here. I mentioned yesterday that we stumbled upon a little book fair, and one of the locals had mentioned that this beach right here, Carabel Beach, along the way, you can see down over there, comes along over here. This whole beach right here was used as a World War II training site. So they used it to emulate what landing on the beaches of Normandy might be like. Of course, we don't have the giant cliffs here in Florida that you do in a place like Normandy, but you can see it kind of gives you the same idea. It's a long, flat, straight beach. Well, mostly straight. You get the idea. A straight beach that they could land on. And I started to wonder, was that a little bit of folklore that kind of has resonated through the ages? But no, let me show you something. Check this out. How cool is this? You can pause to read that, but it says the guys that trained at this very beach we're looking at right here in Carabel were shipped off to Normandy and were some of the first troops to land. How crazy is that? So what we're looking at is Dog Island. We saw that yesterday, and it says that they trained over there and then on Carabel Beach here. How wild it is that this very beach right here had World War II soldiers training and shipped off to Normandy. That's right in my backyard. I had absolutely no idea. I've been wanting to take my son on some sites in World War II in Europe. Little did I know, there's something we can see right here, just 3 hours from home. Absolutely wild. Imagine this contrast. You have these waves lapping at the shore right here with that sound. It's so calm, even today where it's overcast and stormy, versus what these guys would have experienced when they landed on the beach in 1944. So, just like any good road trip, it also must come to an end. We're gonna start making our journey back home, but of course, this still is the one tank challenge. So we're gonna see, can we make it 3 more hours back down the beach road all the way home on one tank? It's gonna be close. We've done 220 miles since our last refuel. Passing through Mexico Beach, and all of this stuff is basically brand new because when Hurricane Michael came through here in 2018, it absolutely leveled this place. And I'm pretty sure that El Governor Resort right there either was extremely damaged or had to be completely rebuilt. This whole town, Mexico Beach, was devastated in 2018. All these trees right here that are dead and like snapped in half at the top are still remnants of Hurricane Michael in 2018. I mean, when it came through hard and fast, and it just snapped trees off like halfway up. As you can see, it was really crazy. Normally they kind of linger and they rip trees out of the ground, but this one was so intense it just snapped them off. All this stuff is still here like 7 years later. That's really crazy. And here's a space laser. I don't know what that is, but it looks cool. Look at this, I didn't even realize that there's a person with extreme class in front of us, GX460. I was actually joking about the space laser thing, but we just passed a facility with a sign that said WEG Drone Launch Facility. So there's some sketchy stuff happening out here towards the Mexico Beach area. And just like that, we smashed this trip. Look at this. Woo! Crazy. Tank averaged 23.9 mpgs, which is actually pretty crazy. I didn't know that it would go that high. 366 miles since refuel, and we still got a quarter tank. This thing's insane. So the final tally on the road trip was 366 miles, and we didn't even have to touch our safety jug. We didn't leak any coolant. Woohoo! Well, so the after action report is 366 miles. Both you can see on the trip meter and on the little computer on the left. That's nearly 2,600 miles since the new transmission went in. And it says that there's a quarter tank left with range approximately 188 miles. I don't think that's exactly the case. I think once it gets down to about 70, your fuel light comes on. I'm blown away at the performance. It was absolutely fantastic to drive. It took us on such a fun adventure this whole weekend. And this is exactly what I wanted to do, not only with this car, but the projects on this channel. I wanted to buy junk, fix it up, make it awesome, go do something with it. This is the perfect road trip car. And then who knows, the Land Cruiser could be off-road adventures in the future, and whatever projects might show themselves on this channel. I'm just super excited that I finally was able to do something like this and bring you along with me. Like I said, it was the goal from the outset to do something with these cars, not just always be wrenching. I hope you enjoyed the star of the show, this wonderful LS430, bringing us on a super fun adventure this weekend. I had never been to any of the places that we went on together in this adventure. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.